One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and love, the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. Oh, legend in the making, day by day.
Wow, it is a Fuck It Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, we have all made it. Somehow, some way, we're here. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Let's get it. So, as you guys can see, we do have a wild morning for us in the news. U.S. deploys warship amid Iran conflict, as well as Trump Roundtable, which is actually supposed to be happening right now, actually. It's supposed to be happening right now, but usually, you know, knowing Trump and the administration, they're usually about 30, 45 minutes late, so to like everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if we missed that this morning. But nonetheless, then we also have Kirk murder suspect in court and more. So the way that that's the way I labeled it. But on a chronological timeline here, what we're going to be talking about is first, yesterday, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on Minneapolis ICE presence. Now, she comes out and speaks to reporters, and she makes a few comments. And, of course, we're going to talk about that. Then we have U.S. sanctions. U.S. sanctions Iran amid protests. And I already thought that we had a fuck ton of sanctions on Iran, but I guess we're putting even more. I'm not really sure how that works, but we're going to find that out together, obviously, as well. We got Caroline Leavitt unloads on reporter over ICE in Minneapolis. This was yesterday during her press conference, her press briefing. And it kind of got a little spicy. So we're going to be playing that clip. And then we have some stuff that was happening yesterday. It was breaking yesterday. Watch violent advance between CPB and protests, which they actually have a warning graphic title on it. So I guess it will be brutal to say the least. Then we have military assets moving to Middle East as Trump weighs Iran strike, sources say. It says breaking U.S. sending military assets to Middle East as Trump weighs Iran strike, sources say. And this is not even getting into the big thing, which we're about to get into here in a few. But first, Trump outlines health care plan for Congress to consider. And yes, actually, I checked out what the Great Health Care Plan, that's literally what it's called. I think it's a great ideology. I think it's a great way to, instead of it going to these insurance companies automatically, it's actually going to the U.S. citizen first, and then they can buy whatever the fuck they want. So cash is going directly to you, and then you decide how you want to spend for your health care, which I think is awesome. I think that's great. And then we got Trump praises Venezuela's Machado, I think that's how you say her name, for wonderful, quote, Nobel Prize gesture. I guess yesterday she tried to give him or nominated him, or Trump, for the Nobel Peace Prize, which is very interesting after the events that just unfolded, right? Okay, we got ICE searching for suspect accused of ramming agents in Texas. Now, this is only 12 hours ago in Louisville, Texas. A lot of shit going down, man. We got Trump deployed U.S. warship to Middle East as tensions rise in Iran. Wow. So deploys whole ass U.S. warship out there, man. And then we've got Greenland latest. U.S. lawmakers meet after Trump threats, as well as Mossad chief in the U.S. to talk Iran. And from the report, it says so. Anyways, that is our lineup for the morning. And yes, I also see that Trump is just kind of getting started over there on his side on the live. So I'm watching everything, but we're going to, of course, do everything in chronological order. We'll try to end with Trump. But all right, so let's go ahead and do our call to actions real quick. And we got to get right into it because we got like, I think that was 10 or 11 stories. But anyways, please make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. Double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side because it's also free. And hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, man. I just don't understand why you would. But let's get the money part over, though. Please consider becoming a member, starting only at $3.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to have these lights on and be on these airwaves. So thank you, members, for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, the campaign trail. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one as well. We got a Discord server for all of you legends. Make sure you guys join up on that. We have the invite link in the description down below. And as well as the moderators will be dropping links for you guys to be joining up and all that shit. And last but not least, all super chats, super seekers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to, and I get 100% of the proceeds, and I'll read out whatever comes our way. And yes, sir, feels ultra good. Now, real quick, we got Code coming in the building already. As I say that, we got my man Code in the chat sending in a Cash App saying for $5, have a great show. My man Code, thank you very much for the Cash App. It goes a long way, bro. And see, that's exactly how it gets read out, man. So feels ultra good. All right, all you legends, man, I'm going to really, really quickly get past this because we got so many stories to get through. We got Carney as well as Naomi. Good morning to you guys. Thank you guys for moderating this morning. We got Motobomb as well as S&S. We got Jimmy Mack as well. Good morning. We got Steve Easy. I see Wacky in here as well. Good morning. We got Brother So Loud from the Boondocks of North Carolina. Shout out to my man. We got Chewy as well as Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you. We got Old Mac in the building. Shout out to my man. That is one legend right there. I can tell you one thing. Let's see. We're scrolling down. We got Brother Bill Castle over there in the state of Washington, my man. Good morning to you. We got Brother Dwayne as well. Good morning, good morning. And yes, Bill Castle knows exactly the deal. We got coffee and smoke, we'll just call it, left-handed tobacco. Look, I got my left-handed tobacco ready to go here. We're going to get into the stories first before we crack it. We got Virginia Chaos in here as well. Good morning to you. We got Easy Frank as well. Good morning. Brother Mike, have a great show. I very much appreciate that, Code. Thank you for the Cash App, my man. All right, we're going to get right into this, guys. We have so much shit to get through. We're going to start off with DHS Secretary Kristi Noem on Minneapolis ICE presence yesterday, by the way. So let's go ahead and bring this up and talk about it.
In my discussions with Governor Walz and from what I've seen on his press,
Speak into the microphones, lady.
he still is not willing to work with our federal officers to bring peace to the streets of Minneapolis.
Secretary, do you have any plans to pull out of Minnesota?
No plans to pull out of Minnesota.
How would you describe what you were seeing on the ground there? Would you describe it as an insurrection, and do you believe the president should invoke the Insurrection Act?
I describe it as violent and a violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department in different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize
What up, KH5? Shout out to East Texas.
My hope is that this leadership team in Minnesota will start to work with us to get criminals off the streets. Remember, we are there in surged operations because of the largest fraud scheme in American history. We had people stealing from taxpayers, stealing funds away from the most vulnerable individuals in this country, people who needed mental health services, developmental services, autism, daycare.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys saw, but Nick Shirley went back to, do a whole bunch of other videos and, right there in Minneapolis. And it's very interesting. He actually found out a few more companies that were posing as transportation companies, actually. I don't know if you guys saw those yet, but I'm sure it'll be a hot topic going forward. But yes, he also showed that there was a tremendous amount of fraud with not just daycares or learning centers or any of this leering centers, but also in transportation. And then they're actually like liquor stores and money exchange places. Meanwhile, they're registered as a transportation company with the state, which is interesting. Anyway,
individuals came in much from the Somalian community and stole dollars from those people who needed it and put it in their own pockets and enriched themselves. Did it right under Governor Walz's nose, and we believe that he didn't just know about it, that he may be complicit in it as well.
Do you believe there are any cases in Minnesota where the ICE agents have gone too far?
Our ICE agents are following the law and running their operations according to training. Last night what we saw was 3 individuals weaponize shovels and brooms and attack an ICE officer that had to defend himself. So we're hopeful that we don't see that again, that these protesters and violent rioters will be held accountable for the actions that they're taking, and that our officers can do their work safely.
What about that officer that you were mentioning? Can you give us an update on that ICE officer's condition after he was hit with the shovel?
You know, he was...
We're seeing those...
no, I didn't. I must have missed that, Naomi. Thank you for calling that out. Real quick. Yes, there it is. TVT, I'm super sorry on that. I sent $2 over saying coffee on me, Mikey. I very much appreciate that. And thank you, Naomi, for pointing that out, because I did miss that. And you know what's weird is anything under $5, under $4.99, it doesn't light up on my side. It just happens, and I don't see it. So thank you for calling that out.
In Minnesota, can you provide an update on what the agency is going to do about that, and if you're concerned with the documents that were taken by those?
Well, I believe that those vehicles were FBI vehicles, not...
What's up, Wild Card? Good morning.
...our Department of Homeland Security vehicles. So I'm not certain what documents were in there that those criminals may have taken and seen. But I would say that our agent is beat up, he's bruised, he's injured, he's getting treatment, and we're thankful that he made it out alive.
Secretary Noem, are you okay with federal agents and officers violating people's Fourth Amendment rights by asking for papers without reasonable suspicion?
Real quick, I think it kind of correlates to StreamYard and the connection it goes to YouTube, and it doesn't, not everything shows on StreamYard, which is what I see. I don't see the YouTube side like you guys see it. So I can't see when someone raids me. I can't see when someone is donating jewels or whatever they call it on the vertical side. Stuff like that I can't see, which I hope StreamYard fixes.
Every single action that our ICE officers take is according to the law and following protocols that we have used for years, that this administration has used, that the previous administration used. They are doing everything correctly, and over again in litigation in the courts, we've proven that they've done the right thing.
Why is it within their right to do that? Why is it within their right to ask for papers without reasonable suspicion?
With the president, sorry, on all your you say you discussed the Insurrection Act with the president. Did you recommend that?
No, we just discussed it, that it was one of the options that he had constitutionally, and we talked about the fact that we're going to continue our operations in Minneapolis and have the resources that we need to get the job done.
Yes. Well, it sounds like she's just going to go ahead and stay confirmed and convicted in her stance, so we're not going to see much movement here. It's the exact same thing I expected. But we're going to move on. Again, we have a lot in the media here that we're going to be talking about. So, anyways, we're moving on into U.S. sanctions Iran amid protests. Now, we already had a fuck ton of sanctions on Iran, so I'm not really sure how this is working. If there's like another layer of sanctions, I'm not really sure. We're going to find out, though.
You're watching live now from Fox, and we are following some breaking news out of Iran. I do want to put this up on your screen here, as the United States is imposing sanctions on 5 Iranian officials that accused of being behind the crackdown on protests, and warned it was tracking Iranian leaders' funds being wired to banks around the world. As President Trump...
Holy shit. We got Old Mac coming in with the humongous 20 spot saying lunch on Old Mac. Holy shit. Let's go, bro. Old Mac, I'm very appreciative of that. That shit goes a long way. Thank you, kind sir. That I'm very appreciative.
Trump's administration increases pressure on Tehran. Now, the U.S. Treasury Department in a statement said it imposed sanctions on the Secretary of the Supreme Council for National Security, as well as Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and law enforcement forces commanders, accusing them of being architects of the crackdown. Now, President Trump has repeatedly threatened to intervene on behalf of protesters in Iran. I also did want to share with you here, as you can see on your screen, this is a post here from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and he did post a video message to social media just a short time ago. I do want to see if we do have it. My producer was working to see if we could grab this for you here on Live Now from Fox, and it looks like we do have it. So once again, here is that.
Wow, real quick before he gets into it, before she gets into more of that, we got Alfred Patterson also sending $5 on the Cash App saying, let's let's just get that money part over. Yes, sir. Let's get the money part over. Thank you and you guys have already made it pop this morning for damn sure, but let's get the money part over.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
W.
Denied.
Feels ultra good. All right, back to this. Sorry about that.
Video message just
Thank you,
posted to
Alfred.
social media from the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
My message today is to the Iranian leadership on behalf of the people of Iran who cannot speak for themselves. Last March, we predicted that President Trump's maximum pressure campaign against the Iranian regime would accelerate an economic collapse. Since then, our sanctions efforts have been effective in slashing oil exports and cutting revenue. The currency and living conditions are in freefall. The early warning signs are already flashing in the Iranian economy. The regime continues to egregiously mismanage its economic resources with additional subsidies and price controls. The central bank is...
What's up, Mountain Woman and Tiffany, by the way? Always got to say hi to the ladies. Great to see you guys.
broke and printing money. Hyperinflation is next. Rather than building a prosperous Iran, the regime has chosen to squander what remains of the nation's oil revenues on nuclear weapons development, missiles, and terrorist proxies around the world. Civilians are rightly protesting mismanagement and economic collapse. President Trump stands with the people of Iran and has ordered Treasury to sanction members of the regime. Iran's leaders have brutally responded to peaceful demonstrations with violence.
Which, I mean, we did see and we reported on. Real quick, we got Rob's neighbor, which is Kerry, by the way, saying he's driving. Hope everyone's doing well, and we hope that you're doing well, and we want you to stay well, so just make sure you stay listening, and let us know when you get to your location, kind sir.
From mass shootings in the street to attacks on wounded victims in hospitals. Today's sanctions target 18 individuals and entities that the regime uses to evade sanctions on Iranian oil and divert proceeds from its energy sales away from the rightful owners, the Iranian people. Tehran's natural resources belong to its people and not its brutal dictators. Treasury will continue to target Iranian networks and corrupt elites that enrich themselves at the expense of average Iranian. This includes the regime's attempts to exploit digital assets to evade sanctions and finance cybercriminal operations.
Okay, I think this is really important. Now, for you guys that are OGs in the chat, you already know that Papa Penguin's one of my sources, actually, for the show. And so when he says something, I really take it to the bank, right? So anyways, he says, y'all keep an eye on Saudi. If regime change happens in Iran, we're going to see a major shift in their relationships with everyone, which is true. Obviously, Iran is their major competitor in the region. And yes, that is going to shape shift the way the Middle East is ran and operated for damn sure. I'm sure that there's many, aside from just Saudi Arabia, that there's going to be different dynamics with, right?
Additionally, President Trump has announced a 25% tariff on countries that continue to do business with Iran. Our message to the Iranian people is clear. Your demands are legitimate. You are protesting for a noble cause, and the United States support you and your efforts to peacefully oppose the regime's mismanagement and brutality. Our message to the Iranian leaders is also clear. U.S. Treasury knows that like rats on a sinking ship, you are frantically wiring funds stolen from Iranian families to banks and financial institutions around the world. Rest assured, we will track them and you. But there's still time if you choose to join us. As President Trump has said, stop the violence and stand with the people of Iran.
Yo, real quick, we got a Grillipus in the building. Shout out to my man, and happy Fuck It Friday to you as well. Hopefully you're enjoying. So yeah, this is kind of a big deal. Let's go ahead and see what this tweet is about.
And once again, that was that video just posted to social media a short time ago there from Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. This action is the latest move targeting Tehran since President Trump restored his maximum pressure campaign on Iran, which includes efforts to drive its oil exports to zero and help prevent Tehran from developing a nuclear weapon. So if you are just tuning in here to Live Now from Fox, wanted to share this breaking news here with you. The United States is imposing sanctions on 5 Iranian officials that accused of being behind the crackdown on protests, and also warning it was tracking Iranian leaders' funds being wired to banks around the world.
Oh yeah, they're following the money. That's exactly what the United States is going to be doing right now. And they're going to be finding out exactly who Iran's doing business with. I mean, Trump already came out and said, well, we're going to put on a sanction for any country or nation, whatever, that is doing business with Iran. You're going to be sanctioned too by the United States. So, lot of big plays on a geopolitical landscape. So, anyways, Caroline Leavitt unloads yesterday on a reporter over ICE in Minneapolis. Now, I watched the entire White House press briefing yesterday. It wasn't. It was good. It was a good press briefing, but this is kind of really the only decent highlight from this whole thing. So let's go ahead and just play it, and then we're gonna get. We can't play a 45-minute segment on an hour-long show, which is this show. We break down 11, 12 stories in 1 hour, so I can't play her whole entire speech. Same thing with Trump and all that shit. So, anyways.
I have two questions. First, a follow-up on one of my colleagues who asked you about the president's interview with Reuters. You said that he was joking about canceling the elections, but Americans for generation.
Real quick, yes, make sure you guys double tap the screen. We got 235 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap the screen on the vertical side. Hit the like button on the horizontal. Thank you, guys.
Have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy. Are you saying that the president finds the idea of canceling elections funny?
Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose a question that way.
Damn.
Thank you, Caroline.
No, he's trying to get back in there.
Senator Elizabeth Warren said that the president called her earlier this week to discuss caps on credit card interest rates. I'm curious, would the president work with her and other Democrats in Congress on a legislative fix to this issue?
I think the president would work in good faith with anyone in Congress for a good legislative fix that would benefit the American people. And that's precisely why he called Senator Warren earlier this week on that matter.
Thanks, Caroline. Earlier, you were just defending ICE agents generally, and earlier on, Secretary Noem spoke to the media, and she said, among other things, that they are doing everything correctly. 32 people died in ICE custody last year. 170 U.S. citizens were detained by ICE, and Renee Good was shot in the head and killed by an ICE agent. How does that equate to them doing everything correctly?
Why was Renee Good unfortunately and tragically killed?
In my opinion, because an ICE agent acted recklessly and killed her unjustifiably.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left.
He said, "What do you want me to do?"
Stupid.
Let me go and bring this back. Here we go.
Oh, okay. So you're a biased reporter with a left-wing opinion.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah, because you're a left-wing hack. You're not a reporter. You're posing in this room as a journalist, and it's so clear by the premise of your question. And you and the people in the media who have such biases but fake like you're a journalist, you shouldn't even be sitting in that seat.
Damn.
But you're pretending like you're a journalist, but you're a left-wing activist. And the question that you just raised and your answer proves your bias. You should be reporting on the facts. You should be reporting on the cases. Do you have the numbers of how many American citizens were killed at the hands of illegal aliens who ICE is trying to remove from this country? I bet you don't. I bet you didn't even read up on those stories. I bet you never even read about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungray or all of the innocent Americans who were killed at the hands of illegal aliens in this country. And the brave men and women of ICE are doing everything in their power to remove those heinous individuals and make our community safer. And shame on people like you in the media who have a crooked view and have a biased view and pretend like you're a real honest journalist. Kelly.
Damn. She just fucking put the hammer down right there. All right, we're going to move on, though. All right, so great to see you in the chat, by the way, Pablo. Always appreciate you. All right, so we're going to move on. So we have some violence, watch violent advance between CPB and protests, and they actually put a warning. Now, it says, watch a CPB, ICE, and other federal law enforcement, police, and officers advance on protesters outside a federal facility in Minneapolis, Minnesota, in the wake of the shootings of multiple members of the public by ICE. Violent protesters clash with police and cops. Now, it does give a graphic warning, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that now so that YouTube knows exactly, hey, you don't want to see anything graphic, make sure you guys click off the show now. But, all right, here we go.
He's got that little big energy over there. Somebody keep talking.
I'm going to leave it on normal speed because these guys are actually moving around and running and all that kind of stuff, and I want to get shit in real time. So we're going to kind of skip through this because it's 10 minutes long, and we're just going to kind of get the highlights of this. Yeah, no kidding, Steve Easy.
You're all traitors!
What's up, Virgil? Good morning. So it looks like they're just getting ready on the line, essentially, to start moving. Yeah, you guys can see it's the line over there on their side is getting deep on the cop side. So let's go ahead and fast forward here. Tensions are building from one side of the street to the other. Obviously, the line of 12 over here is insane. Here they come.
Get out of the road! Get out of the road!
Here we go. They just grabbed the guy with the bullhorn, I think. I think that's the guy they just, yep. The guy that had that bullhorn, that, woo, all that bullshit. Did you see how he got consumed by officers right there? So look, this guy's backing up with this bullhorn. These cops are like, fuck this guy.
Oh, shit!
Look. Oh, no, they didn't grab him. They didn't grab him. This is the guy with the bullhorn. It looked like it at first. So who the fuck did they just grab right there? Right next to him. Oh, this guy with the camera? Or this guy? I can't tell. This guy with the camera? No. The guy next to the red guy over here on this side. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm not sure why they did that. What's up, Extra Surprise? Good morning. Shit's chaos. Shit is chaos. What's up, Gary? Good morning. We're watching some insane shit right now. I agree, Steve Easy. It's annoying as hell. Okay, we're going to skip forward real quick. Hold on. See if there's any more. It looks like there is more action to be had here. Let's see. We're seeing a line. The cops are doing their backup right now. So, of course, these guys are going to pretend like we're the righteous ones on this side because the cops are backing up kind of thing. So.
Patriots, hold the line! Okay, I'm a combat veteran. You never did nothing for this country. Quiet! Bitch. Asshole! Where we go one! We go all!
Yes, this is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, as of yesterday.
Fuckers. Cowards! Stay out of the road, or you will be arrested. Stay out of the road, or you will be arrested.
And these guys are not going to listen, man. You know. Anyways, let's go ahead and see. Looks like they did get him out of the road, which is good. Let's see what happens here. Scrolling ahead.
This is my home!
Oh my God.
This is what a soldier looks like!
Was that yours? Definitely not yours. You're holding, what, your grandfather's flag? You know what I mean? Your father or grandfather or something?
This is what a soldier looks like! You are an embarrassment! You are an embarrassment! Stay out of the road.
It's a pretty dumb demonstration, in my opinion. Look at all these Antifa-looking fucks with their cameras going around documenting the whole fucking thing. Yeah, they're documenting fucking being on the wrong side of history, actually, but whatever. All right, it looks like they're going back into their facility. All right, so we're moving on, though. Military assets moving to Middle East as Trump weighs Iran strike, sources say. Now, this came out yesterday as well after the show we did yesterday morning. I think it's pertinent that we go ahead and play this before we get into the rest of like what Trump deploying a U.S. warship to the Middle East. We have a lot to discuss here. So,
the U.S. is sending military assets to the Middle East as President Trump weighs the Iran strike. That is some of the latest reporting out there. But for more on this, let's continue to talk about this, bringing in our next guest to help break it all down with me. Please join Fox
News. Are you asking me, Jim? Yeah, it's anti-fascist. That's basically what it stands for.
Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin, great to have you on, Jennifer. What is the latest here that we know about these rising tensions?
Well, thank you, Mike. The State Department today announced new sanctions against Fardis Prison, where many female political prisoners are held. Ali Larijani, the head of the Supreme Council for National Security, he was sanctioned, and 18 individuals or entities linked to a shadow banking network involved in laundering the regime's oil revenues. The U.S. military had presented...
Yeah, ironically, they are the fascists. What's funny about the left is they don't actually understand what the word fascist is. So it's actually ironic that you guys use it so much on your guys' side.
Options for President Trump to consider, but could not guarantee the regime would be overthrown. The president reportedly wanted assurances that any military action would be swift, decisive, and not lead to a wider war in the Middle East.
Out there that are,
Steve Easy, I got you, homie.
Why are you gay?
You're not accurate. President Trump's resolve is not the question. The question is, when we do an operation like this, should it be bigger or smaller? I'm in the camp of bigger. Time will tell. I'm hopeful and optimistic that the regime days are numbered.
Senator Lindsey Graham is heading over to Israel this weekend to discuss options.
So you know what the great thing is that this is my YouTube channel, and I get to do with whatever the fuck I want to do. Now, you can send me money, and still, I don't have to necessarily... answer you. I don't have to do shit, actually, motherfucker. Stupid fuck.
So what would the president's military options look like? The U.S. military posture in the Middle East was not ready for a decisive strike. It had no aircraft carrier in the Middle East for the first time in years because the Pentagon ordered the USS Ford to the Caribbean. Yesterday, 2 aircraft carriers left San Diego and Norfolk. It's not clear whether they have orders to proceed. And the USS Lincoln in the South China Sea may be repositioning to the Middle East, but would not be in position for another week or 2. Also, the U.S. returned one of its anti-missile batteries back to South Korea and other missile defense batteries back to the United States following last summer's strike on Iran's nuclear sites, which burned through a lot of interceptor missiles that have yet to be replaced. Military experts say the president still has a lot of firepower in the Middle East, to likely include an Ohio-class submarine capable of firing up to 154 Tomahawk missiles. Regime targets could include missile production and storage sites, oil refineries key to their economy, or to go after some of the leaders themselves. This former U.S. Supreme Allied Commander recalls how Israel decapitated Hezbollah.
The Israelis use cyber attacks to bring leadership together so that they could bomb and kill the leadership. So there are multiple tools that can be used in different ways to cause these very same kinds of problems to this regime. And I believe we should be there. We should not only be attacking them in a cyber way, but we should be entering into the information warfare piece.
There are economic and cyber options at the president's disposal, including accelerating the collapse of the banking system, Mike. That is keeping the regime and the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, and security forces funded right now. Mike.
Interesting. So I'll just go ahead and leave it at that because we still have a lot to get through here. Trump outlines health care plan for Congress to consider. Now, I actually did listen to the whole ordeal regarding the new health care. I forget what the great health care plan is what they're calling it as of right now. And I think it's actually pretty smart. Instead of the money essentially going straight to these insurance companies for your coverage, essentially, Trump is saying, hey, why not I just give you the money straight up to you as a person instead of it going to an insurance company, and then you guys can decide what insurance you want to buy, what kind of medical that you want. And I'm like, fuck, that's actually a W. Let's go ahead and get into this.
All right, let's take a live look at the White House as we are about to discuss President Trump's framework for health care in the United States. The president saying he wants Congress to take up this plan, as Republicans have faced increasing pressure to address rising healthcare costs after lawmakers let subsidies expire at the turn of the year. Caroline Leavitt did hold a White House briefing earlier today. She was asked a little bit about this healthcare framework. This is a minute or so long. Let's play this real quick before we bring in Politico.
Americans that this will be enough to cover their healthcare costs.
So this is the second principle in the president's healthcare plan, lowering insurance premiums specifically and ensuring that that money is going directly back to the American people and cutting the kickbacks that then raise those premiums. So this plan, once put into legislative text and passed by Congress and sent to the president's desk, will stop sending big insurance companies billions of an extra taxpayer-funded subsidy payments and instead send that money directly to eligible Americans to allow them to buy the health insurance of their choice through, you may have heard it be referred to as health savings accounts. Whether that ends up being the actual name of such accounts, we'll have to see. Again, Congress and the White House are going to work together to put this plan into action. And then secondly, the Great Healthcare Plan will fund a cost-sharing reduction program for healthcare plans, which will save taxpayers at least $36 billion and reduce the most common Obamacare plan premiums by over 10%, and that's according to the Congressional Budget Office.
20 million Americans in recent weeks have seen their healthcare costs soar. Can he assure them that if this plan is put in place, that they will be able to cover those costs?
If this plan is put in place, every single American who has healthcare in the United States will see lower costs as a result. They will see more transparency. All of these proposals that are...
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to you instead of the insurance companies. I mean, how much more transparent can that get?
Within the Great Healthcare Plan are incredibly popular with the American people, and they will impact everyone, not just a small fraction of those who are within the healthcare marketplace, but every single...
Right, not someone that's left or right, not someone in particular, not certain struggles, disabilities, or injuries, or any of that shit. Everybody with healthcare.
American will continue to see their costs go down, and I will note that they already are, and with respect to prescription drug prices. When you look at what the president has done with most favored nations, you've seen these big pharmaceutical companies in the Oval Office saying that this president and his team were nonstop, around the clock, pressuring us and negotiating with us to lower the cost of prescription drugs for Americans. And we are already seeing that to the tune, in some cases, of more than 500%. And that Trump RX website is something that the administration will be formally not launching very soon, so Americans will have access to those lower costs of drugs.
Caroline Leavitt saying that earlier today as we take a live look at the White House approaching 8 p.m. shortly here in the nation's capital. Let's bring in Cheyenne.
Well, and that's really all that you guys needed to hear. We don't need a political analyst to come in and tell us exactly what I just told you. You know, that's what my job is for. Anyways, we're going to move on. Trump praises Venezuela's Machado, or however you say her name. I don't know how to say her proper name, for a wonderful, quote, wonderful Nobel Peace Prize gesture, which this was offered to Trump yesterday from apparently Venezuela's vice president or whatever.
Okay, so there's been a lot of
now president.
Questions.
Standing president for now.
About whether or not the Venezuelan opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, would give her Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump. Fox News with this, saying Corina Machado says she gave President Trump her Nobel Peace Prize medal in recognition of his commitment to freedom. We did hear from Machado outside the White House earlier today. She was asked by reporters, let's play this.
Maria, did you offer to President Trump your Nobel Peace Prize?
I presented the President of the United States medal of the Nobel Peace Prize.
Wow, so she did do it, man. Wow. Shit.
And I told him this, listen to this. 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simon Bolivar a medal with George Washington's face. Bolivar
can't really hear much of her on when she was looking this way at the cameras.
Since then, kept that medal for the rest of his life. Actually, when you see his portraits, you can see the medal there. And it was given by General Lafayette as a sign of the brotherhood between the United States, people of the United States and the people of Venezuela, in the fight for freedom and tyranny. And 200 years in history, the people of Bolivar are giving back to the heir of Washington a medal, in this case a medal of the Nobel Peace Prize, as a recognition for his unique commitment.
Right, she's in exile. Right, correct.
Okay, so that was the piece where she acknowledged the Peace Prize. Many of you probably have the same questions that we have, which is, what exactly does it mean to present your Peace Prize to President Trump? We've been seeing the word present everywhere. Well, we have a little bit more clarity. It does, in fact, appear that it was given. The hardware was given to President Trump. And if you zoom in there, you can see the fine text. It says, to President Donald Trump. And it's basically showing us something that we hadn't seen before, which is that this was, in fact, gifted to the president. So it does appear that...
I'm going to be honest. I didn't see this one coming. But, you know, Venezuelan activist gifts Trump her Nobel Peace Prize.
Machado has gifted this peace offering, as the New York Post puts it. And, of course, President Trump was vying for that exact peace prize that ended up going to Machado. In fact...
Yeah, no, that's true, by the way.
There was a pretty substantial covert operation to get Machado out of Venezuela in order for her to get to the Nordic countries to get her peace prize. We, of course, will let you know if we hear anything more from President Trump. We did, within the past hour or so here, we did see that President Trump... Oh, and I'm getting told by my producers, thank you to producer Caleb, he actually just handed me, there is a zoomed-in version of the photo you're looking at right now. Unfortunately, we're not able to zoom in on it.
That's all right. Let's see what Trump tweeted out at the end here. It was my great honor to meet Maria Machado of Venezuela today. She is a wonderful woman who has been through so much. Maria presented me with her Nobel Peace Prize for the work I have done. Such a wonderful gesture of mutual respect. Thank you to Maria. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to move on, though. ICE searching for suspect accused of ramming agents in Texas. Now, this just happened 13 hours ago during a traffic stop and chase in Louisville, Texas. So, real quick before we get into that, we got Sterling Wheel coming in and gifting 5 memberships. Let's fucking go, dude. That's humongous. Let's fucking go. Thank you, kind sir, for that. Definitely goes a long way. And 5 others in the Insane Wheels family get to share the benefit of being a member. So that's awesome. All right, so real quick, we got to embrace our fuck-ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Definitely embrace the process. We got Hardwire in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, bro. All right, we're going to move on into this whole interesting story here. Let's bring it up.
So this ICE story, of course, has been focused in Minnesota as of late, but this is not just a Minnesota story. Federal officials are searching for a suspect who reportedly injured 3 ICE agents during a traffic stop and vehicle pursuit in Texas back in December. Brooke Taylor of Fox has this. Wanted. This is an illegal migrant from Honduras. They're wanted for ramming his truck into ICE vehicles during a chase in Texas. The 28-year-old suspect was indicted and charged with 3 counts of assaulting federal immigration agents in the Eastern District of Texas. Jerson Lopez Sanchez, the suspect's name. We did get a press conference from officials in Dallas earlier today. Let's play this out.
Can't hear it yet.
Attorney for the Eastern District of Texas. Eastern District, Texas, under the leadership of President Trump and Attorney General Bondi, is fully...
Can we get, like, not a DEI audio engineer, please? Can we get somebody that actually can run the mics?
...engaged with Operation Take Back America. That's a mission to stop illegal immigration, dismantle cartels...
Damn, and Sterling gifting out another. Bro, thank you very much for that. Let's fucking go.
And to protect our communities from violent
There we
crime.
go, the audio.
Operation Take Back America is what it looks like to see law and order in action. As part of this mission to Take Back America, I'm here today to announce an indictment related to a violent vehicle ramming attack on our Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers, or ICE. Before I get into the facts of that case, but let me state to you that vehicles in the hands of individuals who intend to obstruct or evade law enforcement are deadly weapons. When someone runs down an ICE officer or any federal law or local law enforcement officer, those deadly weapons act as battering rams. And it is a...
Which we have been seeing a lot lately. We got Mount High in the building. Yes, we're in the middle of our left-handed tobacco, by the way. And we got Sterling Wheels, speaking of left-handed tobacco, sends 420 and says, I dropped this before I paid child support. Let's fucking go, my man. That is great. Thank you, sir.
Violent attack, and it will not be tolerated. Fleeing from the police or obstructing their enforcement isn't acceptable, and we will not stand for it. Now to the facts of this indictment. Today, I announced the indictment of Gerson Lopez Sanchez, a 28-year-old citizen of Honduras. The United States grand jury in Sherman, Texas, has charged him with 3 counts of assaulting federal immigration agents in the Eastern District of Texas. The indictment alleges that on December 1st, 2025, federal immigration agents attempted to conduct a lawful stop on the vehicle that was owned by Lopez Sanchez. As stated before, Lopez Sanchez is a Honduran national, and he was illegally present in the United States.
So, Honduran national, and he was here illegally in Texas.
He initially brought his vehicle to a stop. The vehicle stop was conducted on South Stemmons Freeway, and it was at 8:04 a.m. in the morning on a Monday morning, December 1st, 2025. It was right at the height of rush hour. He brought his vehicle to a stop, and the federal agents were driving 3 separate vehicles. Each one of those vehicles had red and blue flashing lights, clearly identified as law enforcement. After the agents, incidentally, were also wearing their vests with law enforcement insignia on them. They were clearly identified as law enforcement.
And then he ran.
An agent, the indictment alleges that soon after he was pulled over, Lopez Sanchez suddenly placed his vehicle in reverse and rammed the federal agents in the vehicle behind him.
Oh, shit. So I bet you he goes backwards, hits their fucking, one of the agents' vehicles, smashes it, and then probably puts it into drive and then drives the fuck off, I'm guessing.
While one agent had his leg hanging outside the vehicle just as he was getting ready to get out of the vehicle. He had to jump out of the way, and he was able to jump out of the way. But this maneuver caused enough space for Lopez Sanchez to drive around the other law enforcement vehicles and attempt to flee. Federal agents began a pursuit of Lopez Sanchez. With the red and blue flashing lights engaged, they also engaged a siren. They were also using their PA system to tell him to stop, both in Spanish and in English. He didn't stop. An agent driving one of the law enforcement...
I'm sure we will get it, by the way.
...enforcement vehicles was able to position his vehicle between Lopez Sanchez and his escape route. Instead of stopping, Lopez Sanchez accelerated. He accelerated crossing into the wrong lane of traffic in front of him. He was coming into ongoing traffic, and he rammed the vehicle, injuring the 2 agents inside. That's the vehicle that's behind me here today. The ramming was so violent that it deployed all the airbags in the vehicle. 911 was called to assist the passenger in that vehicle, an ICE agent. Lopez Sanchez continued to evade, with the 3rd vehicle pursuing behind him on East Valley Ridge Boulevard in Louisville for about 10 minutes before he stopped the vehicle on a median, and all 5 occupants in that vehicle, including himself, fled on foot. 3 of the occupants were ultimately detained with the help of some of the civilians in the area. Lopez Sanchez was identified as the owner and the driver of the vehicle, and he remains at large today. I want to take this opportunity to thank the brave men and women of law enforcement. They're standing behind me, and they're representatives from ICE and the FBI. Not with us today.
All right. So we got the majority of the story there. These guys are just gonna basically go around about and talk the same thing that he just said, and they're gonna reiterate points, and then they're gonna take questions and not answer anything. That's usually how that shit goes, aside from what he's already explained. So we're not gonna waste our time because we do follow all these stories as they break, as they come out. We do follow them. So anyways, check back in Monday, I guess, because today's Friday. We have members only on Saturday morning tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, by the way. So all the new members, make sure you guys show up for members only tomorrow morning. It's going to be a great time. And then we'll be back Monday morning for Monday through Friday, what we do here. So anyways, we're going to move into now Trump deploys U.S. warship to Middle East as tensions rise with Iran. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Let's do it.
And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. After weeks of escalating tension, U.S. and Iranian officials faced each other yesterday at the UN Security Council, where America's envoy renewed threats against the Islamic Republic, despite President Trump's efforts to lower the temperature between the two adversaries. The U.S. was joined by others in criticizing the government's crackdown of nationwide protests that activists say have killed at least 2,677 people. We're also learning here just yesterday that at least one U.S. aircraft carrier is being moved toward the Middle East. Military sources confirming that to Fox News, also saying that U.S. military assets from air, land, and sea are expected to flow into the region in the coming days and weeks to provide the president with military options should he decide to carry out strikes against Iran.
Michael.
U.S. officials confirmed to Fox News there are currently about 30,000 U.S. troops assigned to the U.S. Central Command region. There are no U.S. aircraft carriers or carrier strike groups operating in the CENTCOM area at this time. To break this down for us is Jonathan Ruhi with GINSA. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning. We do.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start with the UN meeting that we saw yesterday. What message was the U.S. envoy trying to send there by renewing threats against Iran?
So I think it's partly to maintain President Trump's credibility, the threats that he so far.
Can you get a decent microphone, bro? If you're going to be on the mainstream media, like, can you guys like not be on your laptop, microphone?
Because there is a sense of concern now that Trump was very clear that Iran needs to stop cracking.
Can't hear shit. This is a terrible guest. Let's see if fast forward.
Their readiness. And also one more thing is that, we've heard a lot about U.S. air bases in the Middle East. Those are actually as much a target for Iran as they are a threat, given that we lack adequate air defenses in a lot of those places.
Now, these are all things we already know, by the way, but I want to get to the Warship if they're going to even talk about it like that. Let's see. I remember reading this yesterday, by the way. Islamic Republic State TV, which is their mainstream media for them, their state television, just crossed a red line, airing an image of President Trump after an attempted assassination quote, or in parentheses, by the regime, along with a Persian message reading, quote, "This time the bullet won't miss." This is a direct threat against President. Yeah, well, of course it is.
Perhaps not in the current situation, but as we've seen in the past, it's maybe better not to draw the red line in the first place.
Okay, they don't have any other information on that. Now, let me go ahead on the warship aspect. Let me go ahead and see here. The United States has deployed one of its most powerful warships to the Middle East amid escalating tensions with Iran following the reported killings of protesters, according to the Pentagon. Satellite data from Copernicus shows that the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier and its strike group has moved westward from the Indo-Pacific region. The group includes fighter jets, guided missile destroyers, and an attack submarine, which I'm sure is nuclear. So we're going to move on, though. Greenland latest. U.S. lawmakers meet after Trump threats. Okay, so very interesting. Now, real quick, we got Sterling Wheel coming in with the $10, by the way, saying 10. Mike Ball, Sanchez, Garcia, Lopez, Delago, Gutierrez, Monteiro, Monolego. I'm illiterate as fuck. I struggle already, bro. So that put me for a loop. But thank you for the $10, man. I very much appreciate it. Let's fucking go. And for the rest of you guys, because Sterling is carrying the weight this stream, we've got over 200 people in here. You must obey.
Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate. Maybe you need to donate some freaking money. Donate some freaking.
Shit, feels ultra good. All right, we're moving on into Greenland real quick. Here we go.
My good friend Lisa, first and foremost, for bringing her colleagues here. I think it's very important in these very uncertain times that we have an open dialogue. So I want to thank Lisa and Senator Coons for making sure that we have the meeting and bringing all your colleagues here with us. And I want to pass on the floor to Coons first. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your hospitality. This is a 10-member bipartisan bicameral dialogue from the United States Senate and the United States House, and we are grateful for your hospitality. For 225 years of being a good and trusted ally and partner, we had a strong and robust dialogue about how we extend that into the future. We expressed our gratitude for the sacrifice of Danes who served and fought and died alongside Americans.
Now, I'm very interested. Are they speaking over there in Greenland? Like, are U.S. lawmakers over there, U.S. senators over there? Let me go ahead and read this. U.S. senators meet in Copenhagen. Okay. Following President Trump's Greenland threats, the delegation led by the Senator Chris Coons, he's a Democrat from Delaware, met with leaders of Denmark on Friday. The bipartisan delegation wanted to reassure them of congressional support.
When we were attacked 25 years ago, we
Okay,
spoke about the
so he went over there essentially to back up the sovereignty of Greenland, essentially.
value of NATO and the commitment to respecting the core principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and self-determination. And we spoke with clarity about the importance that the people of Greenland make their decisions about their future. So it was a constructive and hopeful dialogue, and we look forward to continuing.
Thank you. I want to pass on the floor to Makowski.
Thank you. Thank you for your continued friendship, your leadership, and to my friend and the leader of our delegation, Senator Coons, thank you for leading such a strong bipartisan and, as you point out, bicameral delegation. I think that that's important. I think it's important that it be recognized that when it comes to matters of relationships with our friends, with our allies, as we have here in Denmark, as we have in Greenland, that it is not a subject of Republicans versus Democrats. It is a recognition, again, of a strong and a continuing relationship over decades. It is one that we need to nurture, as with all
What's up, Lone Wolf? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
relationships.
Happy
you
Friday.
need to nurture and take care of them, and you need to have constructive dialogue. And as has been noted, there's not only been good dialogue here at the Parliament today, but this morning earlier with the Prime Minister of both Greenland and of Denmark. Just yesterday in Washington, D.C., we had visits with the foreign ministers of both Greenland and Denmark. So constructive, important dialogue that is ongoing now and will move forward. So it's important to be here. I think presence means a lot. And this, again, bipartisan delegation to be here with our partners is important. So thank you for the opportunity to share the time and, again, the fellowship. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it also.
It is kind of interesting watching, though, U.S. senators go to Greenland and then undermine what the president of their country is doing, which is very interesting. But anyways, let's go ahead and see if there's any more speaking from the senator or from the woman in Greenland there, the main spokesperson. Okay, it looks like she's speaking again. Okay, here we go. Let's hear it.
Close collaboration and also respect. And of course, between Greenland and Denmark, we stand fully united. Thank you very much. If you want to ask some questions, you'll be able to ask some questions one-on-one. I would suggest we do that instead. We can take a few, sure.
Can I ask you
One second.
Could you tell us if Donald Trump is set on buying or occupying Greenland, what can your visit here, what can the Congress do to stop him? Because it hasn't gone away now for a year.
I think it's an important message for the people of the Kingdom of Denmark to understand. And I don't want to go into a basic civics lesson here, but
oh boy, here we go.
we have three separate but equal branches in the United States. The executive, the presidency is clearly one, and you're hearing from the executive branch. The Congress also has a role. The Congress has a role, certainly when it comes to spending authorities. The Congress has a role in basically helping to facilitate the message that comes from our constituents to be reflected in whether it's legislation or appropriations or actions or measures that can indicate, again, the will of the Congress. And I think it is important to underscore that when you ask the American people whether or not they think it is a good idea for the United States to acquire Greenland, the vast majority, some 75%, will say, we do not think that that is a good idea. This senator from Alaska does not think it is a good idea. And I want to build on the relationship that we have had. As Aya and I penned in an op-ed about a year ago, Greenland needs to be viewed as our ally, not as an asset. And I think that's what you're hearing with this delegation.
Thank you very much. I want to make sure
Wow.
that we get the Greenland.
Well, they really went over there and undermined what the president of their country is doing right now, which is our country here. But anyways, we're going to move into our last story here. Mossad chief in the U.S. to talk to Iran. This is according to a report. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we will discuss it.
We want to get back to the situation over in Iran as we cover everything related to that. Of course, we were just showing you some of the comments that have been made as the U.S. does weigh potential military action. Mike Waltz, the U.S. ambassador to the UN, telling the UN Security Council that the U.S. stands by the, quote, brave people of Iran. Ambassador Waltz says President Trump, quote, has made it clear all options are on the table to stop the slaughter, end quote. Axios reporting the director of Israel's Mossad spy agency arrived in the U.S. earlier today for talks on that situation. Again, a lot to discuss here. Do want to bring in David Dowd, senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you so much, David, as always, for taking the time to be here with us today.
My pleasure to be on again, Josh.
And first off, did want to ask you kind of about those comments from Ambassador Waltz saying that Trump has said, quote unquote, all options are on the table. How do you interpret something like that?
Well, usually when that phrase is used, it means that, again, all options are on the table up to and including potential military options. Now, whether this is kinetic or cyber or, a one-off type of strike remains to be seen. But I think it suggests that President Trump is saying we are willing to use military force if we deem it necessary.
And of course, you are taking a look right here at just some of the video that we've seen coming in. There's been a lot of it from areas of Iran as thousands upon thousands of people have taken to the streets there. There's been countless protests. We are now nearing that 3-week mark. Some European Israeli officials suggesting there that U.S. military action could be, quote unquote, imminent, though no decision has actually been announced. So what do those reports maybe indicate about actual planning versus maybe speculation?
Well, again, I think if we're looking at the U.S. versus Israel, we have different considerations, two different countries. I'm not sure exactly if if I were the Israelis, any moment of chaos within Iran would be an opportunity to further degrade any of Iran's capabilities that or Israel that I would find threatening, that I would find dangerous to my national security, my national existence. The Israelis have been talking about how Iran, after the 12-day war, has resumed the production, its missile program. So this may be an opportunity for Israel to exploit the chaos, the preoccupation of the regime's apparatuses with the protests to strike against these assets. I can't imagine also that Iran has not made some attempt to at least preserve its nuclear.
Real quick, we got my brother Chris Lestrange over there in South Africa. Hopefully you're enjoying your Friday, your Fuck It Friday so far. I guess for you, it's the afternoon. Great to see you in the chat, bro.
Nuclear program for future revival. I can't, it's possible the Israelis or even the United States may move against that because that poses a threat to not just to neighboring countries, but to global security. It's in the U.S. interest to further degrade both of those assets. So it could be that we're waiting and watching, both us and the Israelis, to see if this is a moment to exploit, to hit some of those assets that with which the Iranian regime threatens the region.
And on that same note here, I know it's kind of what you're already talking about, but I mentioned that Axios is reporting that the head of the Mossad spy agency is in the U.S. And according to officials there, they're essentially saying this is all related to Iran. Does that tell us anything?
Look, I think the Israelis have been trying to raise...
Damn, it's later than I thought, Chris. So it's evening time for you. Wow.
The alarm quietly for some time that Iran has resumed its ballistic missiles program, resumed the production of its ballistic missiles program. And I think perhaps this may be tied to that. President Trump came in on a platform of demanding regional quiet, right? He wanted to get into the Gaza war. He forcefully pushed through a ceasefire between Israel and Iran in June. It seems like perhaps some of the job was not finished as far as the Israelis are concerned, and they don't want to run afoul of President Trump.
Okay, now real quick, let me go ahead and read this and see. Mossad Director David Barney, or however you say his last name, has reportedly arrived in the United States to meet with the U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff on the latest in Iran. And there's not much more in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and hear the rest of it. And then we'll close
on the
this
resumption
out.
of any type of regional conflict. So perhaps this is the Israelis coming to President Trump, laying out the facts and saying, hey, would you be okay with us, given the resumption of Iran's missile program, with us targeting this in a limited way and not leading to a regional conflagration?
How do, I guess, military officials there kind of weigh those options when you're talking about the potential for any kind of retaliation from Iran? Because if the U.S. and maybe Israel are to come together, attack Iran, you have these strikes, how do they weigh kind of the benefits versus some of the potential negative impacts we could see?
I mean, look, the way I look at it, the more that Iran is internally preoccupied, the more that not just the regime itself is going to have fewer retaliatory options, but so are its proxies. We go to Hezbollah in the north. The Israelis this week have de-escalated their attacks from last week, I think, perhaps on the idea that they don't want Hezbollah to feel pushed into a corner and lead to a regional conflagration. I would say that Hezbollah is going to be extra cautious this week, if anything, absorb even more blows, because they want to keep every asset possible in reserve in case the regime is threatened. And if the regime ends up being threatened in Iran, they want to be able to devote every possible resource to saving that regime. I think the same would apply to the regime in Tehran. Their options are going to be fewer because they're dealing with street protests. They don't exactly have expendable resources then to pick a fight or to retaliate in a way way that would perpetuate a fight between them and Israel and the United States. They may just want any Israeli action to be a one and done, and perhaps have one single retaliatory symbolic strike or something. I still
now this is going to be an interesting way that this all unfolds, and of course this is what we do. We follow it. We follow all the breaking stories, everything, and we consolidate it into 1 hour of a show. And today we're only 4 minutes over. Not too fucking bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough. Obviously, I can't do this by myself, so I'm very appreciative of your guys' engagement, super chats, donations, you guys' comments, all that shit, man. I'm very honored that you guys are here hanging out with us. So anyways, we're going to be back tomorrow morning for members only at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern. And we have a great time, man. It's uncensored. We get away from a lot of this political shit, and we have a great time, man. So anyways, make sure you guys show up for that. And if I don't see you guys tomorrow, because Sunday's my one day off, we'll be back, obviously, on Monday morning for more of the World's Madness. But until then, God bless everyone. Make sure you guys stick around. We're going to be raiding a buddy of ours, Spyro. So make sure you guys let him know. This is a new person I'm introducing you guys to. I actually hung out with him at DebateCon a little bit, so make sure you guys let them know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. So, all right, much love, honor, respect. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul, with a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. And the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with, fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit.